do you think about all of that I just said about your guy Donovan Mitchell?
He's not my guy. He's never been my guy. I resent that you try to put him in my thing because I've said what you've said for 5 or 10 years. He's not a first-tier superstar for me. He's an all-star. He's a dangerous player. But again, to me, physically, he's too bulky and boxy, and that's why he's not a fluid, athletic guy that contributes in multiple ways to the game. He's kind of just like he's a bit of an oversized Dame Lillard with a bit more attacking of the basket. And I don't like either guy because they don't do enough.
I want to start here. I want to start with Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Pacers. This has been a really good series so far, just to watch, entertaining-wise. Now you have the Pacers with a big comeback in Game 2.
Well, can we just say this? Like in the second round, every underdog has won every game played so far.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild. I mean, if you think about that across the board. Now, you can break down every matchup and say, whatever. But, like, collectively, that's kind of crazy.
No, it is. It is. And you could chalk it up to, what the gamblers will say is that's Vegas getting their money back. At the first round, you had a lot of easy ones. And now they're trying to get their money back, man.
Yeah.
But I want to start here. We're going to get to Halliburton and the big shot and all of that good stuff. But I wanted to start on Donovan Mitchell, okay?
Yeah.
Now, on Facebook today, there was a guy who had a post, and he was comparing Donovan Mitchell to James Harden because he doesn't like Mitchell. And my comment here got a lot of attraction, but this is what I said about Donovan Mitchell. I said, I've always said you'll never win anything when Donovan is your best player. He's 2 to 3 tiers below the other superstars. At his best, he can score. He doesn't affect the game enough, and that results in excuses. He will always have an excuse to why it didn't happen for him. But the real reason is he's just not that guy. That's going to be Donovan Mitchell in a nutshell. Again, I am not the biggest small, high volume scoring guys. If you are going to be that, you have to be a prolific scorer. You have to be like Iverson, Carmelo, all of these guys, Kevin Durant, all these guys. And even then, in a lot of cases, in most cases, it's still not enough. Like you have to affect the game in multiple areas outside of just scoring. And let me give you an example really quick before I let you go. To the unseen eye, to the untrained basketball eye, Donovan Mitchell was out there 1 verse 5, and he gave all he had, and you have to, oh my gosh, Donovan Mitchell had a great game. He's entering superstardom. I'm watching these shows. He just needed some help. 2-3 guys are out. First of all, you had a really big lead. Okay, you let that slip away. In the last minute of the game, the Cleveland Cavaliers did not cross half court. As a guard, you cannot allow that to happen. I don't care. I don't give a fuck if you had 90,000 points in one game. Number 2, the 2 ways that the Pacers came back were offensive rebounds on free throws. Guess who was the main person, number 1 uno person who did not box out? Both times, the shooter grabbed the rebound. Donovan Mitchell is the third guy when you got 1, 2, 3, and he's the guy that's supposed to box out the shooter. Both times it was him in that position, and he did not box out the shooter. The shooter grabs the rebound, and you know the rest of the story. Okay. Now, what do you think about all of that I just said about your guy Donovan Mitchell?
He's not my guy. He's never been my guy. I resent that you try to put him in my thing because I've said what you've said for 5 or 10 years. He's not a first-tier superstar for me. He's an all-star. He's a dangerous player. But again, to me, physically, he's too bulky and boxy, and that's why he's not a fluid, athletic guy that contributes in multiple ways to the game. He's kind of just like he's a bit of an oversized Dame Lillard with a bit more attacking of the basket. And I don't like either guy because they don't do enough. And you're 100% right. He does not contribute in other areas of the game. And even his scoring proficiency, which, some nights is excellent, it does not distort the floor. It does not distort the defense. He'll get his points, but nobody's doing anything crazy to try to stop him.
No.
You don't have to. And so really, to me, Donovan Mitchell, he'll occasionally get hot and hit outside shots, but mainly for me, he's a downhill driver.
Yeah.
And he doesn't necessarily, I mean, he's not an incompetent passer, but he's not a value add passer. And so he's not punishing you every time that is. But you minimize his downhill head of steam drives where his big, bulky body can get the better of you and live off of him trying to hit jump shots all night.
Yeah, I think he's just miscasted. It's just a classic situation with that Aaron Gordon and things like that. Like, for example, I believe that Donovan Mitchell and Aaron Gordon are the same tier player. Now, they do different things. But again, Aaron Gordon is a much better defender and rebounder, but he can score, and his ability to score a little is what got Orlando confused, and they made him like their premier number one guy. And Donovan Mitchell,
they were confused from the draft.
Yeah.
When you take a guy at 4 or
Yeah.
3, you're trying to find a complete superstar.
And it's fine for them to do that.
Yeah.
And they found out that that he wasn't that guy. But now he's what, 3rd, 4th best player on Denver Nuggets. He can impact the game in all of these different ways. He's the ultimate, Andre Iguodala and whoever else you can find from back in the days. They're that classic guy. I think Donovan Mitchell, he's not a bum. He's not a guy I wouldn't want on my team. He just would have to be the 3rd, 4th best guy on the team, a guy who just come in, get buckets in a flurry, things like that.
But see, the funny thing is that like Aaron Gordon can have good games scoring 8 points.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell can't. And
Right.
that's why I kind of push back on the notion that he's like a 3rd or 4th guy on a really good team. Teams aren't constructed that way.
They are.
No, they're not.
He would see this, but this year
volume scorers are not your 3rd or 4th guy.
he hasn't been this year, and that's why this year did show me some things about Donovan. I've lessened my sourness on him, because if you look at this year and like the second half of last year bleeding into this entire year, his volume has really dropped. And his minutes gone down, shot attempts gone down. That's why he's not like whatever top 3, top 5 scoring and what have you. And he's allowed the other guys on the team to really take a big jump. Darius Garland took a big jump, and Donovan Mitchell had to take a slight backseat because of that. Mobley took a big step. And what I'm saying is, I think him proving he can do that without making any waves, like Allen Iverson. If Allen Iverson doesn't, if he ends the game and doesn't have the highest shot attempts, if that happens 2 games in a row, he's fucking livid. Carmelo Anthony, livid. Like Donovan Mitchell went the whole season where it's 50 games. He didn't even lead the team in shot attempts. I think he can go to a championship contending team and have that same effect.
I don't.
Scoring
I don't
effect.
at all. Because his main asset is still scoring. And
Yeah.
now, they played good team basketball, and they won a lot of regular season games. And that's all fine. And when you're winning, it's easier to take fewer shot attempts and whatever. But last
that's
night
fair.
he had 40, took plenty of shots.
Yeah.
And these are the games that matter. And how is he going to function here? And I think this is when it calls for somebody to step up and be the guy. And whether we like him or not, he's probably the best option this particular Cleveland team has. And to me, that's why they're in trouble right now.
Yeah.
But I also, to me, when I'm seeing the profile of a 3rd or 4th guy on a team, I am not seeing like a primary scorer. I'm seeing a guy that brings like multitude of skills and balances your team.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that the reality is Donovan Mitchell is essentially what he's been for the bulk of his career, the 1 or 2 guy on a team that ain't going to get it done. And that's what he is.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's an easy shift to him being the 3rd guy on a great team. I just don't think that's a real thing.
That's fair. I mean, it's totally fair. I know he's miscasted right now. I mean, as a 1 guy, but like you said, he'll be miscasted as a 3 or 4 guy. So he's just a high volume scorer now. And one thing, I like to take credit when I'm right, because it's not so much as I was so big on Indiana, so I'm not going to take that credit. But I never believed in the Cavaliers. I mean, I've said that from the beginning of the year, middle, end, last week before. I've never been a believer in the Cleveland Cavaliers. And a major piece of that is Donovan. But I'm not a Garland guy at all either.
I
just don't believe it.
And I'm with you because, like, again, they didn't add anything significant from last year.
No.
And last year, this is a team that beat Orlando in 7 and lost to, I believe, the Knicks. And now they win a bunch of regular season games, and they feel like one of those Hawks teams under Coach Butts.
That's exactly
where they're just they're
a
really good winning team, but they don't have what it takes to win when it matters, and they're being exposed for that.